You're safer here than any place else.
Stop in here and have a look at the building, and it's lovely. And leaves come down, like blow off the tree, come down here, then went up, like quite a little while, and then it landed on that thing next to the sign. So I said, "Oh, have a look at that while I'm here." At the end one, I was holding my bag, maybe it was I was just sharing, it was a bonding thing. And that's half the crazy cockatoos. I went here last week and there were heaps of bats. Flies and they were wonderful. And it's very pretty campus, and there's heaps of levels. Heaps of subterranean windows and things, and just mighty buildings. Huge. It's incredible. It's not yours. There's spires all around the place. Look at the spires, what I mean. This is cool. See, this bit used. Yeah, okay, this is where I went. Because this bit over here was like Uni of SA. City East campus, I went across to City West and City East. This one had like sub basement rooms with no windows, like sub basement. Like the accounting one, you go down it, you'd just be like down in this. Yeah, I didn't quite tweet to that in my mind at the time. I did notice there were no windows, and it was a bit of a strange vibe, and I don't know, some place where there was a crime on your mind, maybe not really. I mean, accounting, I did it twice, but I wasn't in that room very often. Hey, that's where his tots. I don't know if I got on there. There's a whole lot of ibis. It's wonderful. True Brooks, Wearies, Thoths, one and the same. Gods, we got, that's how it is. It's wonderful. That's kind of like, I feel like that's my main, it's my favourite word at the moment, because I finally realised what I was kind of saying, in a way. I don't like to say fantastic so much anymore. Yeah, I'm sick of a lot of the words. Probably not really blaming the words. What might sound like it. Sometimes I do. Actually, sometimes I do. But yeah, so I went to this campus, on this corner a little bit, first went into like, well, what used to be the Happy High Herbs on Bank Street. It was like 20 years ago when I used to go in there and it was first opened. And yeah, things have changed quite a bit. The kid was alright. But then I noticed that like, a bunch of other kids come in and he's like, had to be over 18 or something to be in there. I was going to ask him the question, but there was a bit of tension, and one of the apparently 18-year-old kids was being a little bit, we said being a little bit rude, or thinking I was, that he'd cut in or something. I wasn't, no drama. I was trying to ask the bloke behind the counter because I was a bit shocked. I was like, but I did. I said, well, they've got to be 18 just to stand in the shop now. I didn't really get an answer from him. Everything seemed a little bit unnecessarily tense at that stage. These kids had to leave, and there was a bit of like, they were just looking at there's nothing really in there. There's like bongs. All the good stuff that they used to be able to sell, that's long gone. That's what I was talking about with the dude in there. Used to buy like Mao Hung, like it was Ephedra sinensis. It was the plant, the Chinese plant. The like pseudo-ephedra is well, the pseudo version of that. Sure, I used to boil it up, make like, you're supposed to make a tea, but I used to make like a green, like a different colour. The best one was a green lime cordial, and it'll get you buzzing. It would certainly get you buzzing. It wasn't like, it was in the same ballpark. It wasn't gear, but it was a good stimulant. It was a plant that grew on the ground, and I can remember when they made that illegal, and you had to take all that down. Wasn't allowed to sell that anymore. It was literally bags of dried up, looks like salt bush. Nah, that was illegal. It's a fucking, there's been quite the steady decline. In my short, relatively version of living in this, it is a crime on one's mind. I mean, if it was to stop right now, you know, oh yeah, it's beyond repair. But it doesn't stop right now. It just keeps going. You're seeing it actually loops back up again. It's a circle, and time actually goes both ways. And in that sense, it goes. You actually change the. Oh, fucking hell! It just, I was getting to an important bit of knowledge I was trying to impart. That often happens. Something in the AI will cause something to have a mind fart, or you know, make a loud noise. That was a bus apparently hitting trees. Well, that's not good. I'll be blaming the trees for that. Hey, Miss Living, you. When I came through here last week, it was so many bats. It was phenomenal. It was amazing. Hey, mate. The dude used to have. There's 20 years ago. I've been talking about it ever since. But there's no exclusion on time. He's not living a. He used to, because I used to go in there a bit, and he was a good dude. And I was going to uni down the road and whatnot, and it was herbs are good. Don't be afraid. I mean, kids are afraid now, and even apparently kids working in the shops are afraid to tell kids they've got to get out, and maybe they should not be afraid, but maybe certainly be uncomfortable. I was a bit surprised. I mean, there's not alcohol, and they don't even sell drugs. It's literally paraphernalia. I think they call them like head shops, head stores or something in Amsterdam from memory. It's like, they sell like a lot of the legal highs, and I tried a lot of the legal highs, or some of them, and they fuck you up way not the way you would like. I found a few times, like, no, geez, you think you got to come down from having a few pills, and well, yeah, I can remember having the ones from there. They were called. And this is nothing against them, obviously. It's just that everyone's trying to do these. It's a crime to want to have any influence on your own mind. Fuck. You know, like it really is. It is apparently. Like the one's called green. I can't remember called green bombs or something like that. But I can remember feeling so fucking sick. Like you got feel a bit of something. Right, but I can remember just being like the come down from each one of the legal ones I ever tried. The come down was a terrible. It was a come down. It was like you were not right for days. I wasn't. Each time, even the synthetic cannabinoids. I tried that at one point. I can't even remember why. It was just for the hell of it. And someone had said, so I don't know. And I can remember like, no, that was shit. And obviously there's been a market for it because people that say work, I don't know, as an example, in the mines, whatever, fly in, fly out and stuff. It's like, well, it's known, all right, well, that you can have that, and it wouldn't come up in your system because if you have, apparently, if you smoke a cone pipe of weed, it's supposed to stay in your system for months or so. They said to me. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Don't feel like that. I once told I was being honest. I told a job. They're not honest. I mean, they're not there to try to get your job. They're trying to fuck you over. That's my experience. I told her. She had an interview and she said, "Oh, something about the drug test, right?" And I was like, "Oh no, I used to smoke. I used to smoke, but I don't necessarily told her this, but I used to smoke weed every day for 10 years. Look, it helped me heaps, far more than it ever hindered me. That's for sure. But it's it's up to me and it's up to you what you do or what you foresee or will be. It shouldn't be up to some draconian bureaucratic archon dressed up as a problematic mind control, govern your mind. That's what ment is Latin for mind. It's actually called mind control anyhow. What am I saying? It's a few years back. And she said, oh, they'll have you to, they want you to drug test. So I said, no drugs. I said, I smoked. I had like one cone. I remember this was like a week later. It was like last Sunday night or something. It was like, and I was just being honest, because frankly, it's nothing to be ashamed of or hide or I'm sick of all that bullshit's taken away. Yeah, more than integrity across the ride. It's yeah, because there is something where I'll get into this another time, but so it was like it'd been like a week earlier. So I just had like one cone to go to see, like, you know, which anyone who knows it's perfectly well, good, reasonable. What, just the one? You know, and it was a week ago, right? But I said it to her, and I can remember like there was another girl there doing like I said it on the phone. I could hear him like one was doing the tyre, and I'd been in and out of the place. But, long story short, she goes, "Oh," I said, "Well," that's not going to count. I said, "What?" It was a week ago. It's not like it's not a thing." And she was like, "Oh, look, well, I'm glad you told me. No, look, we don't think we'll put you forward for that." And I was like, "Oh, I thought you were just going to say, well, we'll get them to do the thing." And because she goes, "Oh, that will stay in the system for whatever." She wasn't a very bright individual. That's why they got a job. That job, and that job's actually about contacting employers and forcing employees on them, which is rather shocking and very surprising that I found. Literally they cold call employers and they cut deals, and it's just a horrendous scene. And really, it's like insurance. Insurance companies make a lot of money. Insurance is about denying claims, right? It's not about fucking helping. That's how it goes. And same with the job networks. It's plausible deniability for the fucking mind control government, and you know. Anyhow, so at that time, I whatever it was, 8 weeks, 6 weeks. It's like, well, and it's freaking ridiculous. I mean, frankly, I used to drive better when I smoked weed all the time. And then none of that, I'll be like the designated driver for all of us. Be like, and people be back me up. It's like, yeah, it was good. So every now and again, there'll be girls like, oh, so, like, no, it's better. And it is. It's like, you can make an argument for, okay, I mean, drugs that cause violence and alcohol's the number one. Everyone knows this. I call it spirit for a reason now. Yeah, we've got these stupid fucking they're not actually laws, but they've been pretending they've been given the weight of law, or given the it's the rule of law. Yeah. Well, I think I've said that before. I don't know what John Law's fucking comment. But so okay, alcohol. Fair enough. You can argue that. Yeah, 6 beers. You probably drive. Well, it depends. Everyone's different. That's the thing. I didn't even come up on the bloody alcohol test after like literally we tested. I drank like even just like 2 stubbies. And here's the thing, and mate was working. And he's like, because it happened when it been pulled in. I was like, I didn't come up. It's like 0. I'm like, well, that fucking explains a lot. That's why I have to have a few. But I don't really do that anymore. But like, there's some pathology or there's some sense right behind the drink driving thing. Like, yeah, everyone could. That's quite acceptable, rational. It's not a stretch. It's not a. Yeah, all right. If you're really pissed, you shouldn't be driving. Yeah. I was made the best decision right at that time. Oh, that's why they've got to have other fuckheads to come and flash lights, harass, hurt you, and fuck you. I mean, it's all gone too far. It's all gone too far. But now it's like anything. Like, so weed. It's like, so you go to a rave or a music festival, and it's like, I mean, everyone knows this. Everyone that's got a mind that's, yeah, I suppose real and having their own dream time, same as mine. It's like, everyone knows this. Like, there's no drama. It's love, right? You see it like raves or music festivals, and it's only. So it's like, but so if you have an accent, and you turn up at a pub, you go to a pub, you end up with mates, whatever, you go to a pub. But if you've been, get the fuck out of there. It's I lost the word for what to call that. Just there, it was there. It means I have to pull out all these other words to try and describe what it means, and it won't actually. There's a reason that word meant what it meant, and I forgot it, and that's all right. It doesn't really matter. But so why? For years ago, I was like, why is weed? Why are you allowed to smoke weed and drive? Fuck, you never break the speed limit. You're the most caring, calm, collected, one with yeah. But it's those that have never done that. They've got a giant fear that built up because they're controlled by something else. It's the egregore they've become part of. They've built that machine, that giant of a it's a pretend imaginary type being, but gee, they've made it real, and that's a genuine concern in the sim game. Like, I know it's a sim, but it's the ones that don't. My mum believes it's real life. Everything's real life, right? And you hear the way the thing she says to me, and she thinks it's like I know I'm living in a simulation. I wouldn't dare say that to you, and you think it's real. Yeah, it's not to bring back the moment. Easy on. But it's a circle, right? And how can I not? That's where I came from. That's where that's how it goes. It's where yeah. And it's like the name thing. I said to a bloke recently. It's like I know I'm not the estate name. I know, but it doesn't matter what you say to the fucking fraudulent, the cops that are harming you. Well, they think it's real. They think they can't, I know, like, she thinks she says to me, and she thinks it's like, I know I'm living in a simulation. I wouldn't dare say that to you, and you think it's real. Yeah, it's not to be about the moment, but you know, it's a circle, right? And how can I not? That's where I came from. That's where, that's how it goes. It's where, yeah. And it's like the name thing. I said to a bloke like recently. It's like, I know I'm not the estate name. I know, but it doesn't matter what you say to the fucking fraudulent, the cops that are harming you. Well, they think it's real. They think they can't. It's like Romy, inferred or fraudulent, the cops that are harming you. Well, they think it's real. They think they can't. It's like Romy, I think, inferred or so it's like it's like the cartoon reality and the words written down that have become so. Oh, it's the finality. It's the excuse for fucking everything in the no mind, no accountability, no. I don't know, no semblance of peace from any of them in my dream time. It's the staunch firm belief in all these fucking made up things that are real that continues to make it real hard, even when you know it's fucking fake. You don't know. Oh, right. I thought I was actually down there, but I kind of ended up looking at the fucking same. So I was in the bin, the dungeon on the other side of that joint. Like basically, I was where that line is, whereas you can't. I was just that. I think I was on the other side, but I reckon that was a concrete thing around that I cleaned up when I went through. Anyhow, I've been moved for the last couple of days. I'd extended it earlier, but anyhow, it's seemed confusing, and it seemed like either way I was going to try and ask my money back and leave. At first they told me they didn't have the money, that I hadn't paid for it, but anyhow I was a bit over it. But then I said, no, I will take up the offer of another room. That'd be good actually, thanks. I'd been holding back, telling the truth really. I didn't want to be complaining, because I had a lot on their plate, but the other room, it stunk like hell. There's a lot of issues. Anyhow, I'm now up here, like it's like anyhow up there, and yeah, it's nice. It's a lovely view. It's clear, a nice little room. I had the intention to talk about something I mentioned. I was headed somewhere with a particular point earlier. I don't recall where that was. I didn't get there. It's not. Yeah, it's not always about. Yeah, it's just. So I got where I got. And I wanted back in here at this point. Yeah, I've been. Nice life. Thanks, Sam. You're welcome.
Alright, let's go this way.
And we'll keep staying up to every time.
Big fraud for you.
23, he was on that.
Maybe wrong again.
Yeah, I'll keep trying. Shall I take the stairs?
Yes.
I'm going to take the stairs back down.
Yeah.
That might.
Okay.
Okay. I haven't had very good luck with the lifts. So, no. That's it. So that's what I'm going to do, right? Yeah. I'm going to get again, starting to, I mean, It's heavy. Something else. No. This is a phone, but that's not always. Staying on. That's fine. This is a phone, but that's not always. Staying on. Okay. That's fine. A lot of this is for a mop, that's one sticky one. Got a mop. That's it. Oh, look. I was thinking, the line. Yeah, nice. That's the colour. That noise is kind of permanent though, I've noticed, but as if something's just on. Oh, like, you know, like. Something. That's phenomenal, really. I've been noticing though, I got into an Uber the other night. A mate was kind enough to organise because I just seem to, I don't have the patience, or the app doesn't have the patience with me. I just seem to struggle using it. And it wasn't a Tesla. The bloke driving told me what it was. I was asking him, is it a Tesla? And I can't really say it's like a Bup 1 or something, or Bup 1, or something like that. It's like electric, very quiet. The moment I sat in it, I had a headache of a higher frequency kind, like a high pitch headache is how I'd call it, how I'd term them. It's similar to what I get in some places where just like it'll just hit my stomach, like I need to like, and I've been like in this whole time, I've been staying in this place, like downstairs particularly, just noticed it again then as I come in here, like something, well, gives me the shits, and you say, oh, it's you, or maybe, but it's not. It's like anyhow, it's a symptom, but like a lot of things, I mean, it's too late to, you can't even, it's like, perhaps that's why it's, best to be ignorant and have no feelings if you're going to exist in here or in this room, more or less these days, unless you're getting into nature, which is where, look, probably always should have stayed. But I'm getting, I've got that little bit of the same headaches that come in here, and I was just remembering that the moment I got into that, in the front passenger seat of it was like a Tesla knockoff. It looked very nice. It was like a I don't know, a soccer mum style but new wagon, not a four drive SUV, like a pretend. Doesn't really, it's just a car. It doesn't really, you can't really take it off road. It's like a pretend. It's like a gimmick. It's a gimmick vehicle that became quite popular because, well, popular with a lot of gimmicks, and it's like almost like a four-wheel drive, but without four-wheel driving and without really any clearance, and you don't have low range, high range. Look, it's nothing like a four-wheel drive. It's designed to maybe stroke the ego of those wishing or feeling that if they had one, that would make them feel like real living or something, or I don't know. It's like I get a bit more height to see traffic. Okay, but you can take anything off road really. I did it in a hire car that was like a front wheel drive little. It was like a little Volkswagen. It was pretty. It was supposed to be a four drive only track in Tasmania, in Wine Glass Bay. And look, it was extremely capable, that little hatch, and just taking it nice and easy. That's really all you need to do. And with a few beers, and I took some friends out there that I met while I was away. It was nice. It was heaps good. And they're like, it says four drive. I said, yeah, no, I've been out of heaps. It was actually, you know what? It's actually the first place I would consciously. It's when I realised I was communicating with the orbs, but I didn't really know what. I just couldn't. I was just tripping out. It was why the water was doing all rainbow lights flickering at me, but I was like mesmerised. I was in a wonderful way. Like, is it oil? I hope there's not oil in the water in this beautiful part. And I was just hanging out in nature, just by myself. I took some beers out on the rocks. It was great. I went to that. I went over for a mate's wedding, and a girl I was seeing at the time was supposed to go with me, but yeah, look, it was one, just probably more than one, but also one just ridiculous, stupid argument and too many. I was like, nah, and I went by myself, and it was fantastic. It was a little bit strange at first, and look, I already paid for the very nice place, and then look, I watched the tennis in there, and I drank beers and hung out by myself, and it was good. And I climbed the top of this mountain, and I got to the top of this mountain first thing in the morning. It was like, there was two girls up top. There was two Asian girls. They were just standing there. It was like look, it's all, because it's actually, this is what happens. It's a dream we're in and we're manifesting it. And it's like, because there was no one else really there, and it was like, and they were just right at the very top of the lookout. Like, you couldn't see if you got there. It was a fair trek. It was first thing in the morning, like early. I was going, I don't want to see anyone. That's what my plan was. But no, there was two young girls up there who were really nice. I became friends with them. And they were, yeah, my mum was in couch service. There was two sisters, and we hung out for on and off for a few days. It was good, really good. I can't quite recall their names, but I've got pictures of them. It was cool. We had heaps good time. And I said, yeah, I got beers, and we'll go out to. And I took them out of this spot, four drive only. You've got four wheels, you're right, and it was wonderful. And it also meant that really there was no one else there, because everyone was like, oh, they took that song quite seriously, and that's up to them. I mean, that links ties back in with maybe perhaps what I was saying a little bit earlier. In fact, or inferring, or somewhat slurring, feeling I'm not drunk, but just feeling a little bit tired and weary, and frequently that I have been transported forward in time rather rapidly, faster than I had realised. I've been on the ride, it seems like to me, quite a bit. Maybe I'm picking up senses of before remembering and more, and that makes this apparent realm space even a little more abstract than before, or than the norm to everyone else. It's like, alright. Stephanie, and I can't remember her sister's name, but they were cool. They were heaps cool. Yeah, it was good. It was good. It was good fun. It was fucking cool. We'll explore around. Wineglass Bay is beautiful, by the way. I don't think I'm ever doing anything with what I'm staying here. I'm just staying this really to myself. But if you do ever go to Tasmania, Tasmania is like beautiful. Lots of places, but Wineglass Bay in particular, absolutely, mind blowing. And it was the orbs that I was seeing in the water. I hadn't quite worked out. I was playing with them. It was like, because the sea people, it was, the kelp and everything was, and that's what happens. Right? It's real. It communicates with you. It plays with you. It's real. I used to go sit at Christie's Beach when I was little. I used to live down there for years with my old man, and sometimes I'd walk out around the rocks between there and Port and Lunga and sit down and have smoke a cone, smoke a pipe of weed, right, sit on a rock. It was beautiful, and a seal used to turn up like a number of times. In fact, just like boop, pop up, like, hey, because we're connected to everything, like really, really. It's not just Skippy and dolphins that get trained to take bombs off of boats and I don't know, flip aqua men blokes up in the air with their bottlenose nose type. I just don't know why I was going on like that, but it's that's all the birds, 100%. No, we're going to work that out a long time ago, and lots no. We all know. And it's just, how seriously you're taking the costume you're wearing in this particular role, the makeup you put on, the freaking mask, and then again, it's an org inspiration. Everyone's at a costume party, and I forgot. They're taking it. They're still wearing the costume. Many are partially wearing it. They realise that they're putting on a costume, a proper, putting on whatever you got to do to get through. But what you got, I'm not saying otherwise. It's just The Phantom of the Opera. So obviously that was getting at now. I'm realising, or considering, my voice is telling me it's quite correct. I'm feeling so anymore. Most of thank you. There we go. And that noise, like I'll be like, fuck, who's left the fan on? Who's left the light? It's just, it seems to be coming out. I don't know how I'll start looking for it. But yeah, right, just. Oh, I didn't have this filming. I just want to acknowledge. I was just trying to turn the lights on. Right? I just reenacted it because it was like this, and it was like this. There was a fucking fan on. See it, you know what? Oh. So I was like, oh, I wonder where the light is. I went, oh, yeah. Look, I may have just manifested that solution right there, here and there, and then that's how it goes. This happens too. That's how easy it is for something to be fixed. You're like, oh, you're not taking credit for this. I'm not taking credit. That's how it happens. It happens all the time. There were switches on the other dryer downstairs. There weren't any switches. You couldn't get the dryer. I couldn't plug it in. Like the cord was there. There was nowhere to plug it in. I had the cord in my hand. It went to the back of the dryer. I was like, can't plug it in. Like and it was stacked on top of the washing machine. I was like, that's a bit shit. Shouldn't really be like that. But I was like, it doesn't matter. I'll hang them up. But I went around sort of wandered and came back, and then there's two switches just next to and boom, put the switch, because I tried getting the dryer to work anyway, but I couldn't plug the fucking head. Well, then there was just two switches here, and I went, boom, this is downstairs, and turned the dryer on. Oh, but it hadn't been plugged in. Oh, but the switches were they're there, because that's, yeah, it's my dream, it's your dream, it's how, like, yeah. It's like, you didn't notice the switches. No, I didn't notice the switches because the switches weren't there. Did you miss the point? It wasn't plugged in, but then the switches were there. It took when it was on. Yeah, but it's not like there. It's just yeah. And we cut ourselves off. I cut myself off again and again from what would be quite wonderful, simple, and remarkable solutions to issues. Because like, I'm trying to decipher everything. You know, not saying that right or wrong. Just saying this a lot of the time. But I think at the moment lately, it's like I've been again and again. I've been given homes essentially led to accept, but then it's like, but on my terms, it's like, it's fucking tricky to satisfy all the bullshit I've made up in my head from being in this realm. As far in many ways, as far as I'm not just taking someone else, it might be someone else's. But it's like I'm looking for Van and you. It's like everywhere I go, there's Van you. I'll tell the story another time. I don't feel like talking. But I did stop this place. This place I was drawn to, with the water and the light and the birds, the ducks, and it was wonderful. And then just opposite on the other side, there was exactly the ute I could look at in the van, and the place behind there was like no one in it. And I cannot tell the whole story now, but I was being told, I was directed there, and it was like it was either the way out of the sim or here's you have your home back, because we know you. Yeah, you deserve it. You need it. You didn't do anything to. It's like here, like this is how it would go. But then I don't want to like. I started to be like, went touched on like a bit of the gate, and the wind, it just opened the gate, and I was like, I went in. I'm not telling the whole thing. At one stage, I couldn't work out how to get in, and then I was like, am I just going to someone's house? Just in someone else's house. Like, it was a lot of I'll tell the whole story at some point probably, but. Yeah. That's what I was saying before. We convince ourselves of the rules, I suppose, and we're the arbitrator, administrator, judge, executioner, slave and master of whole arbitration. And so it'd be tricky to help us, tricky to save us sometimes when we're convinced so certainly in our minds that, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, right, but perhaps a lot of that's the thing, it's like there is no good and bad, really, there's right and wrong, we kind of made it all up. I like to think there's certain morals in life, I make certain decisions along those lines, treat others as I would like to, and expect the same in kind, and that's, to me, that's like a universal, and that's cool. But also I take it too far when I'm repeatedly being like, here, have this, here, like as in from the perspective of, let's say, the AI were within the orbs and things helping, a lot of men and women helping. But yeah. All right, enough. Enough talking. So, point is, look, there's a bit of a noise if you're going to look for it, but I'm extremely sensitive to noise. But the sound like a fan was on, or a fan was on. I turned it off. The switch is over there. All right, over there. Yeah. That's wonderful news. Wow, that's amazing. Move on for the melancholic type mood. That seems to be from mood. I'd get the dried wood. I couldn't plug the fucking air. Well, then there was just 2 switches here, and I went, this is things there.
Love isn't something we invented. It's observable, powerful. It has to mean something. Maybe it means something more. Maybe it's something we can't yet understand. Maybe it's some evidence, some artifact of a higher dimension. Love is the one thing we are capable of perceiving that transcends time and space. Love isn't something we invented. It's observable, powerful. Maybe it's some evidence, some artifact of a higher dimension.